Hello, everybody. It's a nice day out here in Ohio, and it's time for another robot review. And this is going to be part of a longer running discussion that I'm going to start with today, and then I'm going to get into more on its own separate video because it's something that there's a lot of feelings about it. Like, some people are really good about it, some people feel really bad about it, and there's some criticism, there's positives. We're going to take a look into that, and you'll figure that out as we go along. But primarily, this is going to be an unboxing of another Hasbro Transformers figure. You can get my cutting tools here. And that is Star Raider Ferak. Now, Ferak is pretty clearly based on the Kingdom Cyclonus mold. It's very, very close. There's some differences in the face and here and there, and I brought my my Kingdom Cyclonus out to do some comparisons, and that'll lead into the next part of the discussion. So let me go ahead and get into this box. Now, this is a standard. This is still windowless, or rather, there's no plastic here. I had heard that they were trying to get away from that because of theft and things like that. I don't know. I don't know how much that's a big deal in stores, really. But slide him right out. Got the instructions there. Got a piece of paper talking about the various copyright stuff, I think. I'm going to set that aside. But he's got everything on the box here. He doesn't have anything wrapped up in paper like they do occasionally. Let's see if I can get him out without a whole lot of cutting. Not long ago, I was able to get one of the Infernac universe critters out, which I'll go over those in another future video too. I didn't do an unboxing for those. It's a bit late now, but I might go over them as far as the lineup goes. Try to get him out. And you can see he's in there pretty good from these. I can cut them, but I'm trying to cut down on possibility of just stray waste popping off in the environment here. Shoulders set up here. There we go. Set him aside for a minute. He comes with the standard Cyclonus gun that's been with every version of the Cyclonus so far, which has been the two. One was Kingdom and one was the Generations subline. And this one also comes with a pair of these kind of like pistol kind of things that you can also plant on the wings. So I'm going to pick him up. I'll put this back in the main box. And you can put these on the wings, on the back, of course, so you can kind of be like a traditional seeker, although that's super loose. That is super loose in there. That's not very tight at all. And the other one's not real tight either. So I'm going to put these in his hands, and they're still pretty loose. I'm going to have to do something to tighten those up so he can be like a gunslinger kind of thing. And I'm going to use his main blaster on his back. Now, it is pretty much identical to the Cyclonus one. But here is Ferak. He's got a gray. He's a lot more gray in person than I thought. I thought he was supposed to be white in previous editions of the figure from different sublines, have been white, like almost a bright white, and this is a dull gray. The face sculpt is different from the original, and we'll show that off in a minute. He's got the same range of motion, good articulation there, good articulation in the legs. You know, I think his legs are too far up. Yep, his legs were slightly collapsed. He's supposed to be a bit taller. So there you go. So now you can do his bending and everything. Good bending. And yeah, the mold is a great mold. It's one of my favorite molds. The Cyclonus figure is one of my favorite figures because it's really good. It's just an excellent figure all the way around. He has got a symbol of the Star Raiders on his arm there. No Decepticon signals that I can, or symbols that I can see. Now I'm going to compare him to the original Cyclonus. Now my Cyclonus has a bit of a severe issue, which is something that happens with certain Hasbro Transformer products. He's got a severe yellowing issue, and it's bad. You're going to see it in a minute. And one of his legs is real stiff, and I actually had to put some oil on it, on the mushroom peg, because it wouldn't turn anymore at the thigh, which is probably due to a lot of that yellowing, to be honest. But here's Ferak versus the Kingdom Cyclonus, and you can see how bad the yellowing is. His fists, his elbow joints, the back of his knee joints, his hip joints, the foot joints, and his neck, and on the back. Everywhere that there's a joint has yellowed severely, where it looks almost like it was meant to be gold from the beginning, which is really disappointing. But as you can see, if I put them back up here for you, the face sculpts, if I can get the faces up there. This is the Cyclonus face sculpt, right? Real serious. It's got the light piping. This is the Ferak one, which is a bit different. It looks almost older. Like he's got an older face. Like he's seen a few things, you know what I mean? But he doesn't have the light piping. On the back, it's covered over with a gray strip, and his eyes are painted yellow. Looks like he's missing a piece on my Cyclonus back here. One of the fins is off too. One of these is missing. I don't know when that happened. I'm gonna have to take a look. They don't usually go too far from their shelves, but still, going back to all of this, he's got great head motion. He doesn't have as much head motion as the Kingdom one, which he's got all over, and he's a bit loose, so maybe he's not supposed to be like this. Maybe I need to tighten that down. There's a screw in the back. But all in all, it's a good use of the mold. And like I said, this is one of my favorite molds in the Legacy line. I love this Cyclonus setup. And you can see you can put the here we go. This is better than putting them on the wings the other way. There's a little space there and a little tab there. You can put the pistols on his wings. like so, right? So let's talk about remolds and recolors and things. I'm going to get into a more thorough discussion of this later because it seems to be something that Hasbro is often very guilty of. They usually make multiple figures of the same mold or just multiple colorations of the same character. And I'm curious to see how some of you feel about that. Because of this, there are 3 colorations of this mold now. There's the original, and how much hand I've got. There's the original Kingdom Cyclonus. There's the Generations Cyclonus, which is darker and is supposed to resemble the toy from the original G1 lineup. And then now there's the Ferak. And there's another, these are just 3 colors. And there's remolds that were turned into Metal Hawk, which I was going to bring out and I didn't. And even the Jaxus Legacy mold, which then became the new Vector Prime Legacy mold, are based off of this basic design. So it's versatile. It's solid. It doesn't have much in the way of like backpack stuff. Everything folds up really well. There's not a lot of hollow spaces. It's an excellent mold. But do they need to keep using the same things over and over? Now, if there's a little bit of a jump cut there, I had to pause it. There's a person who lives around here. He's still shouting, but at least he's a little bit out of earshot. He's not right up here. He's got some issues, and I'm not making any judgment calls about people who got problems and things. But he's really loud, and he's just going on about something. I don't know. He needs some help. He needs some help, and nobody else in the neighborhood seems to be interested in helping. So anyway, back to the figures. So the Cyclonus mold has been used a few times and retooled a few times, and it's one of my favorites. But how many times is too many? Excuse me, outdoor insects. How many remolds and recolors is too many? They have Seekers. The Siege Seeker line specifically has like 10, 12, 13 different figures. And the only real difference is their different colors and there's like 3 different face sculpts between them that are like randomly along them. And what do you use that many Seekers for? I mean, do you really want that many characters? I mean, I do. I've got all of them. So I'm kind of biased, I suppose. But I like most of the color differences, and I like that they're different enough that they look unique. But do you really need them? And is it just a cash grab on Hasbro's part to do that? If there's enough characters to justify it, I think it's fine. If there isn't, I don't know. It's a difficult question. I mean, the Megatron Siege mold and the Megatron Earthrise mold have both been reused many, 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 many times, and they're still making them. And they're suffering some degradation, like some of the knees and the legs and things, they don't quite work right. And, there's only so much you can get out of a mold before it starts to be problematic. But we're going to get into a wider range discussion about that in another video, and I'm going to have more to show off to kind of compare how these things work. But how do you feel about the Star Raider line? They're exclusive to Walmart and Hasbro Pulse, although I believe they're all sold out on Hasbro Pulse. But Walmart is the carrier of them. I'm getting several of them. I'm getting the Ferak, obviously. I have a Cannonball from it was a Comic-Con exclusive that was able to score for pretty cheap on eBay from Timelines, I think it was, that I prefer to the new one that they're putting out. The new one's using the crankcase mold, which they've used for crankcase, they've used for skids, they've used for crosscut, and they've used for somebody else, and I'm not too keen on it. It's too short, too chunky. So I don't want that one. I also ordered the Lockdown. It's based off of the same mold as the newest Junkians. Off the top of my head, I don't remember which ones. Axel Grease is one of them. She's the more Decepticon-looking one. They also used it for Toe Line, and they used it for somebody else, I think. Don't remember. But he's on order, and Filch, which is the bird, has been notoriously difficult to get a hold of. Sold out within seconds on Hasbro Pulse, sold out within seconds on Walmart's website for pre-orders. I think I'm going to have to order one through eBay, and the prices are double what they're supposed to be. I don't want to spend that much on a deluxe figure. You know what I mean? And we'll get into price points also in another future video. And they're also going to be coming out with Road Pig farther down the line, and another Thundertron. I don't know why they needed two Thundertrons, but this one comes with extra figures. Whether it's worth the price point or not, we'll see. But this is a good figure. I like it. I just opened it, and because it's the Cyclonus mold, and that's one of my favorites, I like this. You can do a lot of good poses in him for him. I'm not going to do a whole lot of dramatic stuff on him right now, but you can, and he just looks imposing, and a good addition to my collection, I think. All right, so tell me what you think about it. Are you getting it? Are you getting any of the Star Raiders? Drop me a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel. It would help a ton. I'm increasing my views. I've got tons of views. I need more subscribers. If I want to get monetized, I need more subscribers, and then I can make even more content because I can just take whatever that ad revenue is and pump it right back into the channel. So, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you folks